would like to cuddle up with her man by a nice cozy fire bathed in atmospheric mood lighting.
Right. It'll get plenty toasty once we're rubbing up against each other.
Mike?
Yeah.
Fire and mood lighting.
Yes.
Working with the lighting artists, we really brought the look and feel of the world together, and this required a thorough understanding of the visual language of teen horror. A key scene was where all the characters emerge out of the rear of the lodge chasing Hannah. A contrast is evident straight away from the exterior wilderness to the warmth of the lodge. The attention to character lighting here is through the bounce and rim lighting, accented colours and composition, creating characters that come from the dark into the light and back again with an emotional effect.
Guys, there's someone outside. What the hell?
So bright.
Hannah!
What's going on? Where's my sister
The dark.
going?
It's fine. She just
Oh, I
a joke.
see.
It was just a prank, Han.
I see. The Science of Fear. I want to know this. Hoo hoo.
Until Dawn is a game that's full of horror, and one of the things we decided to do early on was to take a scientific approach to how scary it was. So we did experiments on people and we measured their responses to the game. We've created a test area. It's as close to a home setup as we can get it. We've recruited ordinary people to play the game and we've left them to play it on their own.
You're turning the light off.
The only difference is it's rigged with cameras and microphones that relay the data through to the next room where people are watching them play. Bracelet here we use for biometric testing. It measures the player's emotional response. It's called a galvanic response sensor. It makes contact with the user's skin and it measures the electrical conductivity across their skin. It's the same principle as an old-fashioned lie detector. When you're stressed, you sweat a little, very sensitive, it picks up tiny changes if the player is feeling anxious or scared. That data's fed back to a testing team, it comes through as a graph.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, I would have died too, you see.
There's no point testing one or two people, you have to test a lot of people.
And what's your step?
When we have a scare that's consistently has a measurable emotional response, then we knew it was good. If it didn't have that, it goes back to the team for improvement. The data doesn't tell us what's wrong with the scare, it only tells us if it's working or not.
Wait, okay, so you hear that too, right? Josh.
Here we have a chapter relatively early in the game.
Weirdly regular.
Nothing regular about it.
We have to create tension and anxiety in the player so they are ready to receive the scare. The player time to recover, to cool down, to calm down, and then start building the tension again before we do the next scare.
Hey.
What?
Hey.
What the hell?
Ooh, you just got mumped.
Dang, that was good.
Yeah, I have such an adrenaline high from that game.
There's two things we found. One is we could look at the scares, analyse if our expected scares were working effectively. Were people shrieking and covering their hands, or were they getting an emotional response from it? And being scientific about it means that we strip out people's opinions about whether things are working or not. We've got data, and we look at the data. If it's working, we're happy with it.
Really scared.
Bit scared and wanting to get away.
I actually be maybe a bit scared to play it on my own, but
in a room with the lights on, yeah, with some other people as well, yeah, maybe.
But because I'm a scaredy cat, I would play with someone.
That's not me.
And the
That's
lights
not me.
on.
I swear it's not me.
Games I've played in a long while.
That's not me. 1,000 pages. The score. What's in hell's name? Bring it to life. Let's look down. Let's look at that one, and then we're gonna call it a night.
Just move over there. Go on, move. Let me say what I came to say. I'm here to tell you what you're up against being back on this mountain. You should never have returned. I don't know why you did after what happened last year.
You mean with Hannah and Beth?
Yeah, how could you know without being involved?
I don't take kindly to you kids coming up here to my mountain.
Your mountain.
The mountain don't belong to me, it's true. But it don't belong to the Washingtons. This mountain belongs to the Wendigo.
Hi, this is Lee Robinson, production designer at Supermassive Games. Understanding the ancient myths of the Wendigo was key for their development that helped the visual look. Through sketches and concepts, these elements were visualized, such as eyes being milky, almost dead, with loss of lips and eyelids due to frostbite, fangs growing and arms and legs getting longer, with skin hardening and thickening to look snarling and menacing, yet withered and lean.
What was that? Another fucking piece of...
Fingers and toenails extending like claws, allowing them to climb effortlessly. We made them look gaunt and weathered, and having ragged remains of clothes they wore. Blood-stained and rotten, with patches of hair still remaining, they retained strong skeletal limbs, which enable them to be agile and quick through the environment.
So they could become feral, pretty much.
My name is Jamie Gallipo, animation director at Supermassive. The overall direction on the creature was to be very strong, to be extremely fast. We wanted a spider-like movement to the creature. 1 minute scampering to leaping and then crawling, almost instantaneous. And finally, we wanted the creature to have this real, uncontrollable thirst for flesh.
From a sound design perspective, the Wendigo is a real challenge. For the main vocalisations of the Wendigo, we used our own vocalisations, various different animals from the exotic to the farmyard, various plugins and processes to gel these sounds together and keep a human resonance behind that voice, telling the backstory of the Wendigo. During the chase sequences, the anger of the Wendigo is felt by encircling breaths, screams and screeches that essentially chase you as you're being chased by the Wendigo.
I should have done that.
We would layer them up in a multitude of layers, sometimes 15, 20 sounds playing at the same time, to build up the vocalizations for this fearsome creature which is always in attack mode, hyperactive and chasing you throughout the game.
Thanks a lot, game. You're making me feel bad about not saving her. Thank you. I like what you did there. You guys are jerks. You guys are real jerks. Anyway, this was a really good game. Shout out to Katskai. Shout out to Jazz. I can't pronounce your name, I'm sorry. Lively Antidote. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to who else was it? I Need Friends. That's a nice name. That's a nice username. The username was I Need Friends. Shout out to that one. Shout out to it was Captain something. Sorry, I'm tired. But this was a really good really good game. I'm getting emotional. I'm kidding. But this game was so good, man. I swear. But we're going to replay it next time when I hop on. But until then, this is Deadly Venom signing out. See you guys on the next episode.